Respect isn't something you demand. It's something you earn by living with integrity, discipline, and self-respect. If certain habits undermine these values, it's time to remove them. Only then will you truly earn the respect you deserve. Let me be straightforward. Most people may never respect you, no matter how hard you try. You can work tirelessly and make countless sacrifices only to be overlooked. Why? Because respect isn't just about what you do. It's about who you are and the habits you uphold every day. I learned this lesson the hard way. I once believed that being agreeable, always available, and overly accommodating would earn me respect. In reality, it only made me appear less significant in others' eyes. The truth is, you won't gain respect unless you eliminate behaviors that diminish your worth. I remember feeling stuck, wondering why people didn't take me seriously or why I was always overlooked. It wasn't until I began removing unproductive habits, like making constant excuses and seeking validation, that things changed. Respect didn't happen overnight, but when I stopped trying to please everyone and started respecting myself, my environment shifted. Here's the core message: respect starts from within. If you don't demand more from yourself, no one else will. It's time to face reality and eliminate habits that hold you back. Habit number 1, making excuses. Let's be honest, making excuses is the fastest way to lose respect. We all do it from time to time, thinking our reasons are valid, blaming traffic, lack of information, or unexpected challenges. But the reality is, excuses don't matter. People respect results, not reasons. I remember a time when I would always arrive late, blaming traffic or unforeseen circumstances. I thought that as long as I had a reason, it was acceptable. But over time, I noticed something. No matter how valid my excuse seemed, people started seeing me as unreliable. Friends stopped trusting me to show up. My boss stopped giving me important projects, and even my family became less reliant on me. The truth is, excuses don't make you look responsible. They make you appear out of control. Nothing undermines respect faster than showing people you're not in charge of your life. Whether you're late due to oversleeping or traffic, the outcome is the same. You weren't where you needed to be, and that's on you. When I realized this, it felt like a wake-up call. I was the issue, not the circumstances around me. I was letting myself off the hook and expecting others to accept my reasons. Here's a tough reality. The world doesn't owe you anything. People respect accountability, not deflection. I recall being called out after using my usual traffic excuse yet again. Someone asked, "Why didn't you leave earlier?" That stung, but they were right. It clicked for me then. Every excuse I made signaled that I wasn't taking charge of my own life. How could I expect anyone to respect that? Excuses are more than just words. They are a mindset that locks you in a cycle of blaming outside factors. The moment you take responsibility, everything changes. When I stopped making excuses and started owning my actions, trust was rebuilt. People could sense the change in my mindset and respected me more for it. If I made a mistake, I admitted it. If I was late, I apologized without a story. People appreciate honesty far more than excuses. It's not about perfection, it's about taking ownership. The takeaway is this: before you can expect others to respect you, you have to stop lying to yourself. Each excuse you make reinforces the idea that you're not in control. If you don't believe in your own accountability, why should anyone else? Respect is built on reliability, accountability, and self-respect. If you hide behind excuses, people will see through it, and you'll never gain the respect you seek. Next time you feel an excuse forming, pause, take a deep breath, and own the situation. Move forward without explanations or justifications. It's a difficult habit to break, but once you stop making excuses, you'll be amazed at the respect you earn from those around you and from yourself. Habit number 2, being lazy. Let me be honest. If you're lazy, respect will always be out of reach, and it makes sense why. You can have all the potential, talent, and dreams in the world, but if you sit around doing nothing, none of it matters. People don't respect potential, they respect action. Laziness is the clearest sign of wasted potential. I used to believe I could coast on my talent. I was someone who managed to get decent results with minimal effort because I was naturally smart. But here's the truth. No one respected me for it. People might have said, "Oh, he's capable," but they never took me seriously. Why? Because laziness isn't about ability, it's about effort, and effort is what earns respect. I remember a particular time when this realization hit hard. I was part of a group project where everyone contributed except me. I thought I could just show up, add a little here and there, and let others carry the load. But when we presented, everyone's hard work was evident, except mine. The disappointed looks I received afterward made it clear that I had lost their respect. I didn't just let the team down, I let myself down. It wasn't just about that project, it was about the fact that I wasn't pulling my weight. People could see it, and they lost respect for me. Laziness is easy to spot. You might think others don't notice when you're cutting corners or not giving your all, but they do. They see when you avoid hard work, and it chips away at how they view you. Even worse, laziness is contagious. It affects those around you. When people lower their expectations of you, respect is lost. The deeper message here is that laziness is self-sabotage. It's more than being tired or unmotivated. It's a mindset that tells you it's okay to get by without effort. But every time you choose laziness, you're choosing comfort over growth. People respect growth, not comfort. I learned this lesson the hard way. I once thought that taking the easy route was smart, that I was conserving energy. What I didn't understand was that true success isn't just about talent or intelligence, it's about perseverance and hard work. The people who earn respect are the ones who push through, tackle challenges, and show up even when they don't feel like it. Laziness shows in how you carry yourself, how you talk about your work, and how you approach challenges. People can tell when you're not giving your best, and it affects how they treat you. If you're lazy, don't expect to be trusted with responsibilities or look to for leadership. Habit number 3, neglecting your personal appearance. This is something people might not always tell you, but how you present yourself speaks volumes about your self-respect. If you're neglecting your appearance, don't expect others to respect you. It might seem superficial to judge someone based on their looks, but the reality is that your appearance reflects how much you respect yourself. If you don't show self-respect, why would anyone else? I used to believe that it didn't matter, that people should value me for who I was, not how I looked. I would roll out of bed, throw on whatever was clean, and show up. I thought it made me real or authentic, but in truth, I was just being lazy. And it showed. People didn't take me seriously. I didn't command attention in meetings, and I didn't project an image of someone who had it together. One day, I had a wake-up call. I walked into an important event wearing wrinkled clothes and messy hair, looking like I didn't care. And that's exactly the impression I gave, someone who didn't care. The difference in how people interacted with me was immediate. I wasn't taken seriously, and I certainly wasn't treated with respect. On the other hand, those who had put in the effort to look presentable commanded attention and respect. I realized then that neglecting how I looked wasn't just affecting me, it was impacting how others saw me. I was losing respect before I even spoke. Here's the deeper message. Your personal appearance is a form of non-verbal communication. It tells the world, I respect myself, and I take this seriously. When you take care of yourself and present yourself in a way that shows effort, people notice. It's not about wearing expensive clothes or looking like a model. It's about demonstrating that you respect yourself enough to put in that effort. This signals to others that you take yourself and them seriously. Think about it. When someone shows up disheveled and looking like they just rolled out of bed, what's the first thought that comes to mind? Probably something like, "This person doesn't care." And if you don't care enough to take care of yourself, people subconsciously assume you won't care about your work, your relationships, or your responsibilities. On the other hand, when someone walks into a room well-groomed, confident, and put together, it immediately sets a tone of respect. People are more inclined to listen, trust, and yes, respect you. This might sound harsh, but personal appearance isn't just about vanity, it's about self-respect. It's about showing the world that you value yourself enough to put in the effort. When you respect yourself, others will follow suit. That's a hard truth I had to learn after an embarrassing experience. From that day, I made a conscious decision to change how I presented myself. I started dressing with intention, paying attention to grooming and cleanliness. The change in how people treated me was almost immediate. Suddenly, I was being noticed, taken more seriously, and most importantly, I respected myself more. The reality is, people will always judge based on first impressions, and those impressions are heavily influenced by appearance. If you want respect, you have to look like someone who deserves it. Neglecting your appearance sends the message that you don't care, and if you don't care, neither will anyone else. Here's the bottom line. Taking care of your personal appearance is a form of self-discipline. It's about showing up in the world as the best version of yourself. If you're constantly neglecting your appearance, you're sending the message that you don't value who you are, and others will believe you. Stop thinking that appearance doesn't matter. It does, and it always will. Respect starts with how you carry yourself, inside and out. Take that extra time in the morning, put in the effort, and watch how people start treating you differently. Respect yourself first, and the world will follow. Habit number 4, ignoring boundaries. If there's one thing that can make people lose respect for you almost instantly, it's ignoring their boundaries. Boundaries are not optional, they are essential. When you overlook or dismiss them, you send the message that others' feelings, space, and comfort don't matter to you. This is a surefire way to lose respect. I learned this lesson the hard way. I used to think that being overly involved in people's lives was a sign of caring. I believed that offering unsolicited advice, pushing my opinions, or constantly checking in was being a good friend or concerned colleague. But here's the reality. It was suffocating. Because I didn't understand or respect other people's boundaries, they didn't respect me in return. It was a hard pill to swallow, but once I realized that respecting boundaries is a form of respect in itself, everything changed. There was a time when a close friend started pulling away, and I couldn't understand why. I would call her every day, text constantly, and involve myself in her problems, thinking I was helping. But one day she said, "I just need some space. It feels like you don't understand that." That hit me hard. I realized I had been ignoring her need for boundaries and, in doing so, had lost her trust and respect. Here's the thing. Boundaries aren't barriers. They're healthy limits that protect a person's mental, emotional, and physical space. When you ignore someone's boundaries, you're essentially saying, "I don't care about your comfort. I care more about my needs." And let's be honest, who's going to respect someone who operates that way? Let's go deeper. Ignoring boundaries isn't just about being pushy. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of respect. Respect is more than being polite or kind. It's recognizing and honoring someone's autonomy. It's realizing that people have the right to their space, to say no, and to set limits without you taking it personally. When you respect someone's boundaries, you acknowledge that they are their own person with their own needs. Respect naturally follows when you can do this. I had to learn to step back and let people come to me when they were ready, giving them the space they needed without inserting myself into every situation. And here's the surprising part. When I started respecting others' boundaries, they respected me more. My relationships became stronger and more genuine. I was no longer seen as the person who couldn't take a hint. Ignoring boundaries shows up in the workplace too. Maybe you have a co-worker who prefers working independently, but you keep pushing for constant updates. Or perhaps your boss values concise, direct communication, but you overwhelm them with unnecessary details. Overstepping these boundaries doesn't just annoy people, it erodes their respect for you because it shows you're not respecting their time or space. Here's the deep truth. Boundaries aren't just about keeping people out. They're about recognizing and respecting the space people need to thrive. Keeping relationships healthy requires mutual respect, and healthy relationships are built on this foundation. If you can't respect someone's boundaries, you can't expect them to respect you either. It's a two-way street. By honoring the limits people set, you show that you value their comfort and autonomy, which builds lasting respect. Think of it this way: every time you ignore a boundary, you chip away at the trust someone has in you. Without trust, there can be no respect. People will start to avoid you, distance themselves, and silently push you out of their lives because they don't feel safe around you. Boundaries are a way for people to protect themselves, and when you cross them, you show a lack of concern for their well-being. If you want respect, start paying attention to boundaries. Learn to recognize when someone is setting one, whether it's subtle or direct. Don't take it personally. Instead, see it as an opportunity to show that you respect them as an individual. When you do this, you'll find that people will respect you more. They'll trust you, feel safe around you, and value you because you're someone who understands the importance of personal space and emotional well-being. Habit number 5, taking credit for others' work, is one of the fastest ways to lose respect, not just from the person whose efforts you overshadowed, but from everyone who witnesses it. It's a dishonest and self-serving habit that erodes trust, and once that trust is broken, it's extremely difficult to rebuild. This habit is not only unethical, but it's also a surefire way to damage your reputation. I've seen this play out firsthand, and I'll admit, it's something I'm not proud of. Early in my career, I was eager to make a name for myself. During a team project, I contributed a fair amount, but one of my colleagues truly went above and beyond. When it came time to present the results, I subtly framed my words to make it seem like I had done more of the heavy lifting than I actually had. I didn't outright lie, but I made sure the spotlight was on me rather than on the person who deserved it more. At first, it felt gratifying. The praise was flowing in, people were impressed, and I was getting the recognition I craved. But here's the thing, the truth always comes out. It wasn't long before my colleague realized what had happened, and soon enough others did too. The admiration I had enjoyed quickly turned into skepticism and disappointment. It was a hard lesson to learn. Respect isn't earned through shortcuts, it's earned through integrity, collaboration, and honesty. The deeper message here is that taking credit for someone else's work isn't just about harming others, it's about harming yourself. When you take credit that isn't yours, you're essentially saying, "I don't trust my own abilities enough to stand on my own." It reflects insecurity and fear, not strength. If you're constantly looking for shortcuts to success, you'll never truly earn respect. Respect is rooted in authenticity, and taking credit for others' efforts undermines that completely. Think about the long-term consequences of this habit. Once people see you as someone who doesn't give credit where it's due, you become known as someone who is only out for themselves. Colleagues will hesitate to work with you, friends won't trust you, and people will keep you at arm's length because they know you don't play fair. I've seen talented individuals miss out on promotions, opportunities, and even friendships because they developed a reputation for taking credit for others' work. And once that label sticks, it's hard to shake. Here's the reality. When you take credit for someone else's work, you're not just stealing their contribution, you're stealing their sense of accomplishment and the satisfaction of being recognized for their efforts. Imagine how demoralizing that feels. Everyone wants to be valued for their hard work, and when that's taken away, it creates deep resentment and distrust. In the long run, you're burning bridges that may never be rebuilt. Taking credit is also a form of betrayal. It's like saying, "I see your effort, but I care more about my own success than acknowledging yours." That's a serious breach of trust, and when trust is broken, respect follows. People aren't naive. They can tell when someone is trying to hog the spotlight. Even if they don't call you out immediately, they'll remember it. Over time, this habit will erode any respect you've built, and you'll find yourself isolated. This doesn't mean you should downplay your own contributions. If you've worked hard and deserve recognition, own it. But also give credit where it's due. Celebrating the efforts of those who supported you amplifies your success. It doesn't diminish it. It shows that you're confident enough in your abilities to acknowledge the contributions of others. People respect leaders who lift others up, not those who push others down to get ahead. Here's the deeper truth. Success built on the hard work of others without recognition isn't real success. It's hollow. Eventually, it will catch up with you. You might think you're winning in the short term, but in the long run, you're losing. True respect comes from lifting others up and being someone people trust and admire, not because you're perfect, but because you're fair, honest, and willing to share the spotlight. So how do you fix this habit? Start by acknowledging your mistake. If you've taken credit for someone else's work, own up to it, apologize, and give them the recognition they deserve. Show that you value their contributions. Moving forward, make it a point to always give credit where it's due. This not only builds trust, but also demonstrates that you have integrity. Integrity is the foundation of respect. In the end, taking credit for others' work is a sign of insecurity, not strength. It shows that you care more about the appearance of success than the substance of it. But when you give credit, lift others up, and celebrate their contributions, you build a reputation as someone who is secure, fair, and deserving of respect. That's the kind of person people will want to follow, trust, and admire. Conclusion: earning and maintaining respect is not a simple, one-time achievement. It's a continuous process built on integrity, effort, and authenticity. Each habit we hold either contributes to or detracts from how others perceive and value us. Whether it's avoiding laziness, respecting personal boundaries, presenting yourself well, or ensuring that credit is given where it's due, every action we take sends a message about who we are. Respect starts from within. It's about how we view ourselves and the standards we hold ourselves to. When we demonstrate that we respect ourselves, others naturally follow suit. Cutting out harmful habits and replacing them with positive ones shows that you're committed to growth, fairness, and genuine leadership. It's about being the kind of person who doesn't just command respect, but earns it through consistent, honest actions. In the end, true respect is rooted in how you treat others and yourself. By showing accountability, lifting others up, respecting boundaries, and putting in the effort, you become a person others can trust and admire. Remember, shortcuts may bring temporary gains, but lasting respect is built over time through actions that align with values of honesty, integrity, and empathy. Live by these principles, and you'll find that the respect you receive is not only earned but enduring.